From Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, you're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. It is home to Sporting Kansas City of the MLS, and tonight, Rebels with a cause are in town. UNLV looks to knock off its second Big 12 opponent this season. They'll take on the Jayhawks from Kansas. And good evening. It is Friday the 13th. Anish Shroff, former Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware. We'll hear from Paul Carcaterra in a minute. Used to be, and not that long ago, if you talked about UNLV and Kansas with playoff and conference championships in the same sentence, that was the type of chatter that would come from a psych ward. Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Two talented teams. We saw this one coming from down the road, and man, were we excited to get this game, be a part of it. Two really talented teams. UNLV runs it as well as any team in the entire country. 6 players last week scored rushing touchdowns. You're going to see a lot of fancy formations. They're going to come after Kansas in a lot of different ways. 350 yards on the ground.
Last week in a win against Utah Tech, 500-plus rushing yards. They've run it through 2 games almost 80% of the time. This Kansas team, coming off a 9-win season, aspirations of a conference championship despite a loss to Illinois last week. And Andre, for the Jayhawks, it really all comes down to their quarterback.
Yeah, if he takes care of the football, they're as solid of a football team as there is in the country. Last week, kind of uncharacteristic of himself, turned it over through the air. 3 interceptions last week for Jalen Daniels. But if he's right, this team can go a long, long way.
While the Jayhawks' home field gets a facelift, they'll play in the soccer capital of America. But oh, it's the football that we all love. And the opening kick is next. UNLV played in its conference championship last year, picked to finish 2nd in the Mountain West this year. And Paul Carcaterra, they got themselves one of the most sought-after quarterbacks in the portal.
Oh, yes, Anish. And when you've ran for 3,000 yards, you pass for almost 6,000. All the big schools will come knocking, and that was the case for Matt Sluka. The problem was all these schools wanted him to report to campus for spring ball. He wanted to stay at Holy Cross, get his degree, and make a 40-year decision. And the fit with UNLV and Sluka has been great. He told me when he arrived this summer, it's a smooth transition. And football's football, just a matter of getting deep into the playbook. He loves offensive coordinator Brendan Marion's offense because of the way they use the quarterback in the RPO game. There's a little bit of everything in this offense with motions and formations and the ability to improv as a quarterback with your feet and your arm. It also, Andre, doesn't hurt to have Ricky White to throw to.
No, it doesn't. Talented wide receiver that can really get deep. Over 1,400 yards last year.
No chance for the All-American return man Jacob DeJesus, and we get our first look at the Crusader turned Rebel from Holy Cross to UNLV, Matthew Sluka, much like our friend Paul Carcaterra, big-time lacrosse player growing up.
Yeah.
But found out he was pretty darn good at football. And Andre, this go-go offense that Brendan Marion is the orchestrator of, you're going to see some crazy formations. It's going to be fun for us to diagnose.
You're going to see some things that you're familiar with, and you're going to see some formations that you've never, ever seen before. And I thought I'd see just about anything. When you turn on the video and you start watching film for the week in preparation for this game, man, I was blown away with all the different formations they can show.
And for Kansas defensively, they have to identify where Jacob DeJesus lines up. He begins in the backfield. And he gets the call on first down, a 5'7" dynamo. When these two teams met in the bowl game last year, he had almost 200 yards when you combine the kick returns, the rushing, and the receiving.
Yeah, he just flat went off in that bowl game. Very talented player, not real big, but boy, can he get the job done.
Right, look at that formation. He had 2 running backs next to each other in the shotgun. A little motion. Sluka with time launches down the seam. It's tipped and nearly picked He wanted Casey Kane, and this secondary is the strength for Kansas.
They will show you a bunch of eye candy to try to get you, they'll formation you into the coverage that they want. Saw that one down in the red zone in last week's game. It went to Ricky White for a touchdown.
Mello Dotson nearly had his 9th career interception.
Well, one of the best corners in the entire country, teamed with Kobe Bryant. They may have the best duo at corner in the country.
Sluka looking for room to run. He gets engulfed for a loss. 3 and out goes UNLV.
When they held Illinois to just 271 total yards last week, but it was the turnovers. Defense wasn't a problem. They can slow this UNLV running game down as they did there and went backwards after a big gain by DeJesus.
Marshall Nichols will punt it away for UNLV. Last year he averaged 47 yards a punt. 2nd highest in school history, only behind, I know you know this, Randall Cunningham.
Oh boy, yeah. You talk about a guy that he could have made it, he could have played a long time just being a punter. Super talented.
First look at Kansas offensively. Jalen Daniels, going into last season, was the Big 12 preseason player of the year. Had a back injury he could not quite shake. Limited to just 3 games. Struggled last week with the turnovers. When he's right, Kansas is a force. And he's got a big-time back in Devin Neal off his right hip. Neal gets the carry, coming off back-to-back 100-yard games and back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
They've got a super talented skill group in Luke Grimm, Lawrence Arnold, Quentin Skinner, and then you've already mentioned Devin Neal, who's going to get a bulk of the work tonight. Usually backed up by Highshaw, but he may not see any action tonight, so that means more carries for Devin Neal.
2 tight ends into the game, Casey and Cardell. Quick throw to Lawrence Arnold. Finds an opening and tripped up after he moves the chains. Tonight's impact players are brought to you by the Home Depot.
Yeah, when you look for Kansas, Luke Grimm, and then obviously the 2 corners for Kansas as well. We'll talk a lot about them. And then Jackson Woodward, a guy that just makes plays from sideline to sideline for this UNLV defense.
A ton of experience on this offense for Kansas. UNLV snuffs that out. It's going to be a loss of a yard. Manny Powell, the linebacker, starting in place of Marcel McDuffie, who is out today with the tackle.
Yeah, when Barry Odom came over from Arkansas, Manny Powell followed him to Vegas, and he is a guy that they really like. Just a junior, has another year of eligibility left, and he'll be around for a while, but he's going to make a lot of tackles this season.
Odom, a home run hire, Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year last season. UNLV won 9 games, most since 1984, when Cunningham was the quarterback. Arnold gets it up for a first down, a pickup of 11. Cameron Oliver with the stop.
Boy, I like the way Jalen Daniels has started this game. The eyes, middle of the field. You know you're going to throw the slant, so don't look there immediately, young quarterbacks. Hold the safety in the middle, hold the corner on the outside, and allow for that room, and a nice throw and catch by Jalen Daniels.
2 catches for Arnold, who had 3 touchdowns against UNLV in the bowl game last year.
I got a fraternity brother named Jalen, so that's a tongue twister for him.
Daniels buying time, takes a hit and throws it away. That was a dangerous pass in the direction of Lachlan, and Oliver, or rather Catalan, was close by. Catalan had 2 picks. UNLV's win against Houston.
If he's thinking about interception rather than hitting the receiver, it's an interception for UNLV on the back end. You mentioned Cameron Oliver, comes from some good stock. His dad played at Colorado, won a national championship. Uncle played in the NFL. with the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons for a long time. It's in his bloodline.
Now Winslow Oliver. Daniels hands it off. And Niels zigzags close to midfield. It sets up 3rd down, and depending on what they get here, it could be 4-down territory.
Yeah, you get to about midfield, and they are not afraid to roll the dice. 4 or 5 on the season already, 80% on 4th down if they need to. And I think that Coach Leipold, he says he's got his own book that he goes by, and it's based on feel.
One of the big changes offensively for Kansas, they lost their OC, longtime Leipold lieutenant Andy Kotelnicki to Penn State. Enter veteran offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. Screen on 3rd down. Grimm finds an opening. UNLV with some trouble tackling in space. And a 1st down for Kansas.
What a block by Jared Casey. You don't have to throw a knockout blocks, but out on the edge, number 47, just kind of getting in the way. And it wasn't a clip, wasn't a block in the back, just a nice job of kind of shielding a defender, and that allowed Grimm to pick up the 1st down. It's an impressive drive, first drive for Kansas.
A pistol look from the UNLV 41. Daniels pressure. Room to run. Gets a block and then dropped out of bounds at about the 33-yard line.
Well, when he's engaging with defenders, you're just holding your breath because you mentioned the injury history. But all of a sudden there's a free rusher on him and Doyle, and he's able to escape but get out of bounds. Don't take that hit, that type of hit along the sideline. Protect yourself.
He missed 9 games last year with a back. In 2022, 4 games with a shoulder.
But he's a competitor. It's hard. You can say that all you want, but he is going to lay it on the line for this team.
Tight formation. Arnold on the end around. Big hole. Stiff arm to the 20-yard line. A gain of 14 for Lawrence Arnold.
Well, I think if Arnold goes outside as opposed to just taking that step, half step back inside, it's a foot race to the corner of the end zone. Boy, a lot of imagination by Jeff Grimes, and he's been a successful play caller wherever he's been. We saw him a few years ago at BYU. Successful there. He goes to Baylor, upgraded that offense, and now here with the Kansas Jayhawks.
This will be the 10th play of this first Kansas drive, and a flag.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
It's the right guard, Kobe Baines. This Kansas offensive line, the experience on the left side, Cable Dew, and Ford.
Yeah, what did Jeff Grimes tell us? He just wants to fire off and hit somebody. So it's not hard to believe that with Kobe Baines, ready to just mix it up with whomever's in front of him.
Here's Neal, patient run, and stood up by Keith Conley. 3rd season with UNLV, coming over from a junior college. 2nd down.
Got to get back on schedule. That's what a pre-snap penalty will do to an offense. Is it knocks you off schedule. You end up in 2nd and long, maybe 3rd and long, and then you start pressing. And a mistake here, you want to take care of the football, make sure you keep points in your back pocket.
Grimm is lined up in the backfield, now splits wide. Daniels fakes the screen, and it's a middle screen. He's got his tight end, Casey. And the applause for Casey will always be loud. BMOC for life. He was the one, his first career catch of any kind in a collegiate game, the 2-point conversion to beat Texas back in 2021.
I see him as a fullback in the NFL, and a good one because he's got great hands, excellent skill set. He's just a good all-around athlete that just knows how to make plays. I talked about him earlier with that block, just kind of shielding a guy off, realizing smart player. Don't block him in the back, just shield it.
3rd and short. Speed option. Daniels keeps. Spin cycle, reaching. Touchdown, Kansas.
What a drive. For 12 plays, 81 yards, they eat up about 7 minutes and 16 seconds or so, and capped it off with a Jalen Daniels touchdown run. Boy, he is ready to make amends in these for last week's performance.
Tabor Allen, the fifth-year senior, first year as the starting place kicker, puts the PAT through. 7-0 Kansas.
Excellent first possession by Jalen Daniels through the air, but he caps it on the ground. 7-0 Kansas.
While Memorial Stadium at Kansas undergoes what is part of a $300 million renovation, the Jayhawks will play their home games in Kansas City this season. Their non-conference home games at Children's Mercy Park, where we are today, home to Sporting Kansas City of the MLS.
What a venue.
And their Big 12 home games will be at Arrowhead, home of the Chiefs.
I'll tell you what, this is nice.
No chance for DeJesus. We will step aside. UNLV with its second possession on the other side.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Former Kansas professor David Weiss is one of 100 Bristol-Myers Squibb employees riding in a bike relay from Oregon to New Jersey, two states that have full-serve gas, by the way. The annual Coast to Coast for Cancer ride raises money for the B Foundation for Cancer Research. The riders will make their way through Kansas City this weekend, continuing their noble drive to raise $1 million for the B Foundation.
Just a quick note, Kansas under Coach Lance Leipold, 14-3 when they score first.
That's amazing with both these programs. You want to look at one tipping point for the turnaround, go right to the coaching hires.
No doubt about it. Two excellent, and I mean excellent, head coaches and their staffs.
UNLV after a 3-and-out. Sluka boots, throws downfield for DeJesus. Can't bring it in. If he does, he might still be running.
Oh, what an effort, though. And Sluka barely, and I mean barely got it off. I mean, there's a Jayhawk barreling down on him, but just to kind of tap it and almost reel it in was DeJesus. He is some weapon. Got to find a way to get the ball into his hands. A little more consistency.
Almost like he peeked. He saw the green grass in front.
Ready to turn up the field.
There's one of the unique formations in this go-go offense. Jaden Thomas, they call him Jet. 12 rushing touchdowns last year to lead all freshmen.
And made a jersey change, went from number 22. So if you were watching the Rebels last year, he's now number 9. Very explosive, fast, set a school record with 12 rushing touchdowns a year ago.
Now, this is a team that will use 3-4 running backs. They will run for a lot of yards, even though they may not have a 100-yard rusher.
He averaged 349.5 yards this year. Going to take their first timeout.
UNLV.
We'll take 1-2. First down and 10 for Barry Odom, Brennan Marion, and the Rebels. One of the bright young minds in college football, UNLV offensive coordinator Brennan Marion, looked at by many as a coaching prodigy.
I think he's a head coach sooner rather than later. You see the resume there, a lot of different offenses I asked him, how do you describe it? Two-back up-tempo with some West Coast principles, along with some option, some spread. You saw the resume with Hawaii on there, some run and shoot. I mean, he is all over the place, but boy, does he know how to win, which is all he cares about.
DeJesus, the motion man. Thomas, the call.
Nice run.
And a nice run on the counter. Kark?
Yeah, we had a great chat with him. He also told us he coached one of the worst California high school teams. 18 kids on the varsity. He had to be creative. He was lying in the field, washing the uniforms. But what I thought was interesting, he looks at football like basketball. Positionless, not scripted. Have a kind of like a street hoops mentality.
He said positional versatility matters a lot in this go-go offense, and you'll see it with guys like Jacob DeJesus, D'Angelo Irvin, who can line up all over.
Yeah, and there's no predetermined routes. Kind of reminds me of the run and shoot when I was back in Houston, because there's an adjustment for an adjustment. You make an adjustment, then the receiving corps is going to adjust to that adjustment. It's a fun offense to watch. It's all over the place in terms of formations, so much so that the Patriots incorporated it a little bit.
Big third down and 1. They'll keep it on the ground.
I don't think he got there.
Back at the push, going to be a little shy. And do you roll the dice on 4th and less than a yard?
Boy, what penetration by Dunn. They get up the field, they reestablish the line of scrimmage, but the tackling inside was fantastic. J.B. Brown, one of the linebackers in there, and Barry Odom thinking about rolling the dice here a little bit.
Minus territory.
No pun intended, being from Vegas.
Gotta know when to hold him.
That's right.
Know when to fold him. Kansas crowds the box. Quarterback sneak. This is going to be close. Did he get the push? He did on the second effort. Initially, it looked like Kansas may have won in the trenches, and UNLV got that second push.
So for all we just talked about with Brennan Marion and all these fancy formations and all offenses and this, that, and the other, hey, let's go old school and just push the quarterback for a first down. Excellent job on the second effort and able to just push him across to keep this thing moving.
Sluka with time. Completes to Jaden Bradley. And UNLV into Kansas territory.
You know, I was kind of surprised at looking at the completion percentage for Sluka on the season, 46%. He gets that up to about 55, maybe 60. Boy, is this offense going to explode.
First completion for Sluka. Play action. And there is Ricky White, his first reception. He was 3rd in the FBS in receiving yards last year. The two guys ahead of him, top 10 picks, Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, super talented, knows how to get himself open. Excellent route runner, and boy, is he dynamic when the ball is in his hands.
Almost 1,500 receiving yards last year. This is Burrell, the freshman. And he set up 3rd and short. Burrell had 101 yards on 11 carries last week and was named Mountain West Freshman of the Week.
Alex Rice in on that tackle to stop him from picking up a first down. But Burrell is just, you mentioned it, the true freshman. He is going to be one heck of a football player at UNLV.
Wholesale.
Got a line change coming in.
Almost a different front seven.
And they got DeJesus out there one-on-one. And one of the best corners in the country.
White is in the slot. And a whistle before the snap. There's a flag.
Delay a game.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Now that's one I think everybody in this stadium, when they spread you out and empty the backfield,
Game clock operator,
they are going to run the quarterback
142.
in some form or fashion.
And Sluka can run.
Oh,
1,200 yards in each of the last 2 seasons on the ground at Holy Cross, including a game against Lafayette where he ran for a Division I quarterback record 330.
UNLV in the red
Game
zone
clock operator.
this
please
year.
restore the
12
game
red
clock to
zone trips,
1:42.
6 for touchdowns. They were 8 of 8 last
1:42
week
on the game clock.
inside the red zone.
Third and 8. Burrell goes wide. On the slant, too high for White, and nearly picked by Burrows off the deflection.
And that's one that should be automatic. White's open. He's got space between himself and the defender, and Sluka throws it a little bit high. That's what I mean by if he could clean up that completion percentage. That's open in college football. That's got to be completed, and Ricky White picks up the first down. They don't have to settle for a field goal attempt here.
Caden Chittenden replacing an All-American in Jose Pisano. Chittenden, a true freshman, missed his first collegiate attempt, a 21-yarder. He's made 5 in a row since. This one from 38 is good, make it 6 straight since, and UNLV gets on the board. This season, All-State celebrates every field goal and extra point made with a donation to the participating university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State.
Oh, what a game, huh? Just excellent first drive, a creative first drive by Jeff Grimes, calling plays. UNLV needing to respond. They do with points in the form of 3.
Now you think of where UNLV is. They're one of the favorites in the Mountain West, and the group of 5, when teams like Houston and UCF and Cincinnati went to the Big 12,
yeah.
You know, the American was sort of that team in the group of 5 that always had the inside track to that New Year's Six Bowl. It's now more wide open, and UNLV plays a big boy non-conference schedule as Trevor Wilson will run this out. There's a flag down. Wilson dropped at the 11. UNLV's beaten Houston. They've got Kansas.
Yeah, your alma mater in a couple of weeks.
Syracuse, Oregon State.
Yeah.
And then they'll play Boise State in conference. If they win the Mountain West with that strength of schedule, they're going to be in the mix.
No doubt about it.
Holding, receiving team number 80. 10-yard penalty, first down.
In the new 12-team playoff format, the 5 highest-ranked conference champions are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. So you've got your Power 4, and then who's the top group of 5 conference champion?
With that schedule, and if they're able to do some damage with that schedule, man, it'd be hard to keep them out.
These two teams last met at the end of last year in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Kansas won a shootout. Devin Neal spins across the 10 out to the 12, a gain of 6.
When they rely on a big offensive line, the power, or the most experienced side of it being the left side behind Michael Ford Jr. and Bryce Cable, who moved over from right tackle to the left side this year.
On 2nd and 4, right back to Neal. A hurdle. And out to the 24-yard line. That's a gain of 12. It's a first down. Jonathan Baldwin, the nickelback, made the stop.
Michael Ford just kind of ran his guy to the backfield. Devin Neal able to pick up a nice block by his left guard and get up the field. That is doing it at a high level. The start to this game, Michael Ford Jr. is having.
Ford, a 4-year starter, redshirted in 2020 at Buffalo when Lance Leipold was his head coach, and then followed Leipold to Lawrence. Pocket holds, long throw to the sideline, and it's brought in by Arnold for a catch.
Going to be just shy I think of the first down marker. Actually, they're going to give it to him, so it is a first down. But the timing of that throw was beautiful by
That is the
Jaylen
end
Daniels.
of the first quarter.
Daniels 5 for 6, 49 yards through the air, 3 catches for Arnold, and it's 7-3 Kansas in Kansas City.
Coach, where does Kansas stress a defense the most?
Well, I think really every area they're doing such a good job right now on the line of scrimmage, controlling that. We've got to do a better job playing on their side of the backfield. If we can do that, getting them in second long, right now, everything they're playing ahead of the stick. So we got to do a better job on early downs.
What are the best looks against this offense?
Well, I think we've got to be multiple. You know, we had to change it up a little bit there. We've got a couple of things that we're trying to change the look initially out of the box to give them a different picture. We'll get there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That is a good football coach there, Kark. Nice job with that. And always been a fan of his. Dating back to his Missouri days.
UNLV this year with Barry Odom plays 5 times on Friday.
I would love to play Friday games if I were a college player.
Why?
One, you're one of the only shows on in town, and 2, you get to watch all the other games on Saturday. The week's over for you, and you turn the page and get ready for next week.
Daniels keeps.
Great tackle.
And a great hit coming up from that nickelback position. It's Jonathan Baldwin, the senior captain.
Yeah, had an interception in last week's game and a pass breakup. Sometimes you're asked to play, as Coach Odom just said, we got to play behind the line of scrimmage. And sure enough, that's exactly what Jonathan Baldwin did. Kansas plays behind the line.
In that first quarter, averaged 7.7 yards per play. Right back to Devin Neal. Boy, he's had some big holes. And
what a good player he is. He can make you miss for a guy that is considered a big back at 215, 220. He has been great the last few years. Tell you what, he gets going. Kansas, hard to beat.
6 carries, 42 yards for Neal.
Second on the career touchdowns list in KU.
He's got a chance to set the all-time rushing record as well. One more time, Neal. First down, close to midfield. Give him 8 more, up to 50 yards on only 7 carries.
A nice block. And he shows some patience, doesn't he? Just kind of getting out in front and letting blocks take care of themselves, and then the patience turns into acceleration. And for a guy 215 turning the corner, boy, is he tough to get on the ground.
And another guy who's been with this program for a while. A lot of experience on this offense. Savion Morrison is the running back. No Daniel Highshaw today, out with an illness. Very capable number 2 back. Daniels able to complete. It's Trevor Cardell. Second catch of the season. It goes for a baker's dozen.
Where Casey goes about 6 foot, about 245. Then you got a more prototypical tight end in Cardell, who's 6'5", 250. Nice crossing route, and the play fake is what opened things up over the middle. Boy, did they bite on the Daniels play fake, and it opened it up nicely for Cardell.
A running game does that, doesn't it?
It really does.
2 tight ends. Morrison, who started his career at Nebraska. The running back out of the pistol. Speed option. Daniels keeps. Accelerates. Touchdown, Jaylen Daniels.
It was almost, Anish, as if UNLV thought Kansas was going to go to their left. That thing opened up and just kind of parted, and there's nobody. There's guys looking for people to block, and they're just not there. And then the speed of Jaylen Daniels into the end zone, his second touchdown run of this game.
A drive that started back at the Kansas 6. 8 plays, 94 yards, and 4 minutes and 20 seconds. 2 rushing touchdowns for Daniels.
Oh, that was pretty. That was pretty.
Allen's PAT is good, and Kansas using the run game. A $113 on the ground already.
Well, you called it the speed option, and there's nobody there to even touch Jalen Daniels. Sprinting into the end zone untouched.
Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas. It's a packed house, and I'm joined by Kansas Athletic Director Travis Goff. And Travis, we're not in Lawrence right now. We are in Kansas City, Kansas, and this is an incredible atmosphere. But we've had to take a year off of playing on campus because of the Gateway District project. I know you're so excited about this. It's going to be amazing. What can you tell people about it?
Well, we're fired up. I mean, first of all, it's real. We are about 9 months into construction, and we have about 10 months to go. On August of 2025, we'll be playing in a new on-campus stadium in Lawrence, and everybody's fired up about that.
You know, when I spoke to Lance Leipold, the head coach of the Jayhawks, he mentioned that it was more than just football. What value does it add to the overall community in Kansas?
Yeah, I mean, you think about the importance of college football and athletics. This facility, this venue, this district is a tangible indicator of that, right? It's a way to draw people into the university. You think about enrollment impact, you think about student experience, alumni engagement. So it broadens far beyond football, and we want to have it activated 300 plus days a year. Conference center and other auxiliary components.
What will make the football experience different on a Saturday?
You name it, it's going to feel a little bit like this, Paul, in a sense of intimate, no bad seats in the venue, suites and premium much closer to the field, and again, everybody's going to have a world-class experience.
What's it like to be part of this Lance Leipold turnaround? I mean, a lot of these seniors that are on the team, they committed to a team that was 0-9.
Right, no, it's incredible. You start with that, the commitment to the young men and the loyalty to stick around and see this thing through. And then, of course, what Lance and the staff done has been something that I think rivals anything in modern college football. And again, in a lot of ways, we're just getting started. Now it's about how do we sustain it? How do we continue to add layer on layer upon the success we've created?
Well, they've got you, and you've done a tremendous job, and great seeing you again.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you guys being here.
Kansas Athletic Director Travis Goff.
Oh, that stadium's going to be beautiful.
Holding. Defense number 2. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they get Kobe Bryant. But
Talented Kobe Bryant.
that Gateway District, again, it speaks to how in such a short time, how these 3+ seasons under Lance Leipold, the entire perception, image of Kansas football
It's totally changed.
Transformed.
And now you have the administration, alums realizing that football is king, and you kind of better keep up with what everybody else is doing.
Sluka lets it fly, wants White. He gets tangled up with Bryant. No flag.
What's unbelievable about that is Ricky White was wide open, and he was behind Bryant. Thought he had to slow down, so he gives him an inside move. He's open, but the ball's thrown out there. All he's got to do, Anis, is to keep running. Keep running, and you're going to run right under that baby. Like it, though, taking a shot close to midfield on first down.
DeJesus lines up in the slot. Sluka moves the pocket. Fires a strike, and that is Casey Kane. His first reception as a Rebel. Texas transfer where Brennan Marion, his current OC, was his wide receivers coach.
That was well thrown by Sluka. Off the play action, and then you catch Casey Kane, who's got excellent size at 6'3", 200 pounds, out of New Orleans originally. You had him on one side, Ricky White on the other, and our man DeJesus making some plays early in this one. This is a nice drive by UNLV.
Devin Green is the running back. They feed him. Bounce Racing through Jayhawks to the 29-yard line. Gain of 31-yard line, a gain of 7.
Good looking true freshman what made that run was just his determination not to go down. Speedy, closed out the scoring with his first career rushing touchdown last week. He's going to score a lot of them though, by the time he graduates.
Second down, 4 to go. They fake the end around to DeJesus. Instead, it's Thomas. And he's going to be close.
I think he's going to have it.
Marker. And they will move the chains.
Putting together an answer. And that's what you have to do when teams are going down the field. Until the defense comes together, you got to give them a nice long rest, talk about it, and go put some points on the board to stay in this football game.
Ricky White split out to the top of your screen. Sluka keeps, gets a block from his tight end Belinge, and it springs him inside the 25. Jeremy Robinson, the tackle.
He's another good-looking player. Belinge, who is 6'7", 265 pounds. I think you may be able to complete a couple to a tight end with that size.
Yeah, we won't push it though.
I got faith in you.
Quarterback draw. How about Sluka, like a pinball wizard, and he sets up a first down inside the 15.
Just kind of has a feel for the soft spots in a defense, and doesn't really take a shot, a big shot rather. It's a nice job of just kind of making his way down the field, but getting positive yards. And this is last week they threw the ball out of this formation.
This time they run. Thomas swallowed up in the backfield. Robinson the first to get there.
Clean things up well because Thomas was getting ready to kind of come out of that. Robinson, who is an excellent pass rusher, 9.5 career sacks, pretty good run stopper too up front on the defensive line for Kansas.
10th play of the drive. Sluka keeps and tripped up shy of the 10. Kobe Bryant making the tackle, the all-conference
He was not fooled, was he? It looked like Sluka was he could skip to the first down marker. Then all of a sudden, Kobe Bryant smelled the rat and turned his head back inside and made one heck of an open field tackle on a dangerous runner.
UNLV 0 for on third down.
Boy, nobody in the middle of the field. Field's wide open in the middle.
Quarterback draw out of the empty. Kansas read it. Cornell Wheeler, who has the green dot, which allows him to communicate with the DC, gets the tackle, and now fourth down. It looks like the kick team will come on.
Yeah, it gets a little bit frustrating, though, when you drive the length of the field and all of a sudden you got to settle for field goals. That's a couple of times now. That's a tell. When they go empty, it's usually quarterback run. That's what I saw on film this week as well.
A 27-yard chip shot for Chittenden. Three more for UNLV, but they're trading field goals for touchdowns. Kansas will get the ball back with 6:19 to go in the half. Last December, Kansas and UNLV met in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Jason Bean threw 6 touchdowns, 3 apiece to Luke Grimm, 3 to Lawrence Arnold. Kansas 591 yards of total offense. UNLV had no answer for the deep ball. Kansas 4 touchdowns of 40-plus yards. However, there was an ugly aspect to this game, namely 27 combined penalties for 315 yards. Kansas, Andre, won the game despite 18 penalties, 4 personal fouls, and 3 turnovers.
But it forced UNLV to really change how they viewed their secondary. They wanted to get longer because it wasn't 50-50 balls like they told us. It was 90-10. They just throw it up, and their receivers were coming down with it. So Barry Odom was like, he wanted to go out, get some taller corners, taller safeties. The only regular guy that's still back there is Cameron Oliver, their cornerback.
Saturday in the SEC, South Carolina home for LSU. Gamecocks coming off the big win against Kentucky.
That's going to be a wild place.
Texas A&M, Florida. Billy Napier says the Gators will play both quarterbacks, Graham Mertz, and the freshman DJ Lagway. And then number 1, Georgia, going to Lexington. Lagway threw for 450 plus in his debut, albeit against Samford. Neal is wide open. Another chunk play, so there's that big play through the air, 34 yards for Kansas.
We're seeing a monster dose of Devin Neal, and when I was speaking to AD Travis Goff, he was one of those seniors who was part of a program when they were 0-9 when he committed to the Jayhawks, and he's made a strong effort in the community as well, organizing winter coat drives and toy drives, providing food for locals in need, and recently gave school supplies to over 200 students. He's a local from Lawrence, Kansas. He is the signature player on this team when you think about the community, the tie to the program, the turnaround. Devin Neal, one of the best backs, Andre, the school's ever seen.
Yeah, 4th on the all-time leading rushing list is Devin Neal. And boy, you talk about Baldwin almost came up. If he catches that, the pick 6, it's gone. I mean, he made a break on the football. If he's able to hold on, I think the only thing between he and the end zone were the hands of Lawrence Arnold, the receiver, breaking things up. He turned defensive back.
He had to. Neal in the pistol. 83 yards of offense in this first half, and boy, he has had chasms to run through. Inside the 25, a gain of 20 more.
When Kansas started this drive, they were averaging about 9 yards per play. That's right, 9 yards per play. It's up now over 10 yards. So UNLV has got to do something to stop the explosive plays of this Kansas offense and just force this into a little bit of a slower paced game. How? Defensively. Got to stop the run. You've got to key on Devin Neal and take that aspect of it away first.
Split backs. They give it to Neal. Why not? Boy, this line opening up gigantic holes for Neal. Give him 4 more, up to 73 yards rushing on just 9 carries.
Yeah, it's his night tonight with Daniel Highshaw out of this one. He's going to see more carries. We give him a breather now, but man, is he a weapon. And he kind of unlocks everything to this Kansas offense. We talk a lot about Jalen Daniels, but when you're running it like Devin Neal, well, that makes your job a lot easier as a quarterback.
Quick throw by Daniels. Arnold brings it in. UNLV trying to rip the ball away. The Rebels say they took it away.
Maybe take a look at this.
And it's ruled incomplete.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Tony Grimes, one of those defensive back transfers, tried to tear it away. Matt, did Arnold ever complete the catch?
I don't think he did. He never had firm control of the ball. It looked like it was slipping and sliding all the way down. I think this is a good call by the crew on the field.
Now they want to take a look at this because I'm looking at it as though...
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. The previous play is under review.
It's really close to a catch and a football move towards the end zone. You've got to take a look at this, and that's the smart thing.
And Tony Grimes, 6'2" cornerback, who was hurt last year at Texas A&M. Before that, an all-conference DB at North Carolina. And does he have control as he's making the football move? Not sure he does.
That's the best angle right there. From behind, you really couldn't see that. The ball's moving around, and Matt, you were all over it. I wonder if Grimes is fired up because he's thinking he possesses it. Does it touch the ground?
Yeah, I think
I don't know if it's laying on his hip or not.
That might be the question, Matt. Does this ball hit the ground? Remember, the ruling on the field was incomplete.
I see a wristband.
After review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed.
Yes.
Third down.
UNLV looking for any type of break right about now.
Well, it's been a game where we've got 4 minutes to go in the first half. UNLV has had the ball 3 times, and this is Kansas's 3rd possession. It's been a low possession first half.
Well, I told you I wasn't going to mention it, but it's been a little bit over an hour. We're almost at halftime.
Now I know why you didn't mention it. Morrison motions out. Daniels, 2 touchdown runs already. And now 4th down from the 22-yard line, and this will likely bring on the field goal unit. And here comes Tabor Allen.
Well, they get a stop defensively, so what they were talking about when UNLV, the defense, when UNLV was on offense, rested, finally get a stop. They gave up a couple of big plays, but hey, it's bend but don't break. That gives you a chance to stay in this thing.
A 35-yard attempt for Allen, who is a 5th-year senior. This is just his 2nd career field goal attempt. And he puts it through, and it's a 2-score lead. UNLV will get the ball when we come back. Kansas gets the ball first in the second half.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
That's how I get by.
Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra. Second quarter, 3:17 to go. Kansas leading UNLV. The Rebels already have a Big 12 win against Houston. Kansas coming off a loss in the Big 12. 2 teams that have spent a lot of time in the basement in their respective conferences have their eyes on the penthouse. Kansas picked 4th in the Big 12. UNLV 2nd in the Mountain West. And the reality is you have 2 teams that came into the season with expectations, conference championships, even a college football playoff berth. Saturday on ESPN Plus, we've got some theater for you. Virginia Tech, Old Dominion, ODU almost upset South Carolina week 1. UNC home for North Carolina Central. Short trip for NC.
Vanderbilt.
How about Vandy with Clark Lee?
Anchor down, baby. They are playing some good football.
They had that win against Virginia Tech opening week. Big drive for UNLV late in this first half. Sluka going downfield. White juggles, can't hold on. Covered by Bryant.
He's gotten behind him a couple of times now. One, he stopped running there. It's a well-thrown ball. They're 0 for 3 on deep shots in this game. Kobe Bryant right there, but man, that should have been a catch by Ricky White, a receiver of his caliber.
You brought it up early. Sluka's completion percentage, 2+ games, below 50%, 3 of 8 tonight. Burrell pushed near the sidelines.
When you talk about Kansas and what they've been doing offensively, we talked about the yards per play, but second quarter, they have owned it. 48 points have been scored in the second quarter by this by their offense. Only 27 points in the other 3 quarters total. So they are getting it done in a major way in the second quarter and are primed to get the ball back once more.
UNLV 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Sluka breaks a tackle, breaks another into Kansas territory. It's a foot race. Sluka finally goes out of bounds after a huge pickup. They mark him out at the 27-yard line, a gain of 46.
I think he's gone if Ricky White blocks the right guy. I mean, what a run, making people miss, and then he's in the open field. If Ricky White is able to pick off Dotson, the corner, then Sluka's in the end zone. But he's just kind of got his wires crossed a little bit.
Sluka hands it off.
Well, this is where you've got to put it in the end zone here. 2 minutes, the 2-minute timeout right there.
2-minute timeout.
Got to put it in the end zone here if you're UNLV to keep pace. Kansas owning the lines of scrimmage, 17-6 Jayhawks.
Kelsey Riggs going to be with you coming up on this ESPN halftime report. We've got a battle between the Wildcats in Manhattan, Kansas. We'll show you the highlights from that. Plus, how are things shaping out in the Big 12? We'll take a look at that picture. And Dan Mullen is here. We're mulling it over. Which top 10 team is on upset alert this weekend? It's all ahead, Anish, when we see you.
All right, Kelsey, we look forward to it. UNLV almost in the red zone late in the first half. Sluka cannot elude the pursuit. Robinson gets home.
And you absolutely cannot take that sack. He had Greg Burrell, the running back, open in the flat.
First charge timeout.
You just got to trust your eyes. First time they throw out of empty. And he's got a guy wide open.
Please restore the game clock to 1:56. 1:56.
Trust your eyes, let it fly.
Now Robinson beat the right tackle, Tiger Shanks, who is maybe the best offensive lineman in the Mountain West. Full name Tiger King Shanks.
I like that. Tiger King. But you can't take a sack there because you're driving. It's a momentum killer. Now instead of being, third and medium to short, you're third and long and pressing your field goal range here. So need a big play here by the Rebels.
The kicker Chittenden, a true freshman, season long is 40. He hit from 57 in high school. DeJesus in motion. Kansas rushes forward with a spy. Sluka hit, throws it away, incomplete. It's fourth down, and a promising drive stalls out.
Boy, I mean, they were cooking with some good stuff. And second down, taking that sack. Kansas not going to give him much time to survey the field. Leaving still about 1:50 on the clock for boy.
Now the lights went out at the stadium. Now they have
Never seen them come back that
the
quick.
lights on. Now, this is going to be a 51-yarder. Longest field goal in Chittenden's college career. The true freshman. He's made from 38 and 27 already. No good.
Well, and that was all set up by the sack. And here come the Jayhawks right before the half, getting the football to start the third quarter.
2 timeouts, 1:45 left.
The whole operation was fine. He just pushed it. And I'm not sure if it gets there, it might have a chance, but it's offline.
Kansas will get the ball to begin the third quarter. They've got 2 timeouts, 1:45 to go. Daniels, 7 of 10, 100 yards passing. Kansas is rushed for 138. They'll run on first down. Why not when you're getting 10 a play? But Devin Neal is stood up by Jackson Woodard face of this UNLV program, 7 in gray, had a huge game against Houston week 1 with 3 sacks. Timeout is called to stop the no timeout is called, so the clock will continue to run.
Nice job by Jet Elad as well, coming up from his safety spot to help out.
Kansas in no hurry. Now they run it again. Here's Neal, first down and more. Zigging, zagging, and cutting a jagged path into UNLV territory. Catalan, the safety, finally brought him down and momentarily stops the clock with 1:01.
Kansas has 2 timeouts, so they don't need to rush or press the action. They can take their time.
Daniels, quick throw to the sideline. Arnold cannot bring it in.
Well, I've seen him put 2 on the ground that he usually will just reel in, and he's along the sideline, would have had the first down and gotten himself out of bounds to stop the clock. With the incompletion, it's going to stop anyway, but you want the yardage along with it. What nice job by Devin Neal. What a first half that young man is having.
11 carries, 96 yards to go along with a 33-yard catch. Daniels lost the ball, picks it up, navigating the pocket. They'll take off, gets crunched. A loss of a yard on the play. And now, time is called.
Well, you just cringe every time.
Second charge timeout. Kansas.
He takes a shot like that, and an unnecessary shot. Get yourself down, slide, whatever you got to do, but you cannot continue to take shots like that.
Well, we watched last night what happened to Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, and I think with the Jeff Grimes and the coaching staff at Kansas right now, do not try. Let's catch and run for the first down. Don't get yourself in trouble trying to press to throw it for a first down and you throw into coverage and turn this baby over. Make sure we end the first half with the football in some way, shape, or form.
UNLV has 2 timeouts. Kansas with 1. 46 seconds to go. 3rd and 11. Luke Grimm is in the slot. Skinner motions. 4-man rush. Daniels down the seam, picked off. Catalan has midfield, has the 40, and brings it inside the 35 of Kansas. It's his 3rd pick of the season, the Texas transfer, and one time a freshman All-American at Arkansas for Barry Odom.
Boy, we just talked about it. Don't force it into coverage. A nice job by Catalan, the safety. ESPN 4-star player, and he's just reading the eyes of the quarterback. That ball should have been thrown seconds earlier before it got to safety depth. It's an easy interception for Catalan, and UNLV set up to get some points here right before the end of the half.
It's the 5th interception of the season for Daniels, who had thrown 5 picks in his previous 12 games.
Now it's 4 in the last 2 games.
Yeah, that was coming into the year. Sluka with a mulligan now to DeJesus. He stays inbounds.
They've got 2 timeouts
running.
They may need to spin one here. I don't know why you're rushing. Just take the timeout.
Now Sluka running off the field to talk to Marion. Precious seconds ticking off. They've got 2 timeouts.
Take the timeout.
Not using it. Down to 12 seconds, 11 seconds. Horrendous clock management by UNLV. Sluka fades this one. That's caught.
Who needs a timeout?
For a touchdown. Jet Thomas.
Who needs a timeout? Wow. If you know all that, we wouldn't be in an uproar up here. But it was. I mean, they could have called a timeout, still got that play executed, and not have to rush into it. But man, what a throw, what a catch. In a big way by DeJesus. Excuse me, Thomas.
That was the classic no, 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 yes. Thomas on the wheel route. The PAT by Chittenden is good, and UNLV.
That is the end of the second half.
Gets a touchdown on the final play of the first half. On the brink of courage and disaster, they chose courage.
Yeah, a little out and up on the part of Thomas. So they finally get aligned right. Clock's still ticking down, and it's going to be just an out route, and then up the sideline. Boy, coverage blown. What a throw by Sluka. And he's going to go into the end zone untouched. What an ending to the first half of this one.
Fireworks here at Children's Mercy Park, home of Sporting Kansas City.
And both of us called a timeout.
And
that's
MLS.
the thing to do.
And they had two timeouts.
Because
two timeouts.
Yeah, what it does is it gives you more plays in which to score rather than having to score on one.
The old line about the best laid plans.
We got a game, though.
Rebels within 4. Kelsey and company with halftime after this. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. It's a part of the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Wild ending to the first half. UNLV had 2 timeouts. They had the ball late. They mismanaged the clock, and yet the play resulted in a touchdown as time expired. And Ishraf, Andre Ware, to use the Vegas analogy, it was the person sitting at the blackjack table with 19 hit me, and it worked. They drew a 2.
And you know what I'm doing? I'm getting up and leaving that table. I'm out. I still say call the timeout. You've got multiple plays when you have all that time and 2 timeouts rather than just one option, one play where a defensive player reads it wrong and it winds up in the hands of your player. I'll go to my grave saying call that timeout.
However, it worked, and it's made this a 4-point game going into the second half. Kansas will receive. The Jayhawks running game has been dynamite in the first half. It's time for tonight's American Express Game Track.
You see the total yards there, not much difference, and that's why we have a 17-13 game, a close ball game. Turnovers by the big turnover by Jaylen Daniels, and that's what has this game as close as it is. And a lucky break for UNLV on their final play of the half.
The last drive for UNLV might not happen if not for the interception. Out to about the 30-yard line, a gain of 4 by Devin Neal as we check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Anish, you mentioned that late interception in the second quarter by Jaylen Daniels, and I spoke to Lance Leipold. He said he's had 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. He's holding on to the ball too late. He needs to make his reads a little quicker. He's ecstatic about the run game and Devin Neal. He feels like they have an advantage in the trenches, their offensive line creating a lot of leverage against the defensive line of UNLV.
I would go right back to Devin Neal, let things settle down a little bit.
They do, and he picks up maybe a yard. It'll bring up 3rd down. Neal already north of 100 yards. He's done that now in every game this season and 6 of his last 7 games.
He is a fantastic back, and Cart talked about the patience of Devin Neal, letting blocks set themselves. Not a bad receiver out of the backfield either.
3rd down. Kansas has been in UNLV territory on every drive. Rebels bring the blitz. Daniel stands in. Too hot, too high for Luke Grimm. It's 4th down.
Already an adjustment by this UNLV defense. Instead of allowing Jaylen Daniels to sit back and read coverage and get the ball out, they're going to pressure him a little bit, especially on 3rd downs. Nice job. He got man-to-man, which is exactly what you want. He knows it with the blitz presenting itself. Nice job here to start the second half by UNLV.
24-year-old Australian Damon Graves with a big punt. Here is Jacob DeJesus He's 5'7". They've dubbed him Baby Jesus. 46-yard kick with good coverage. Kick off your Week 2 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew. It's on ESPN and the app. We'll get you caught up to date. Lots going on in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey potentially headed to the IR. Tua Tagovailoa, devastating hit and concussion suffered last night.
He's okay. He's playing sooner rather than later. Hope he's playing again.
You'll have a front row seat to two of the best young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams, your Texans taking on the Bears on Sunday night. Robinson body slams Sluka to the ground.
Man, you can't do that.
And that draws a flag.
Yeah, you cannot do it. It's rightfully thrown flag there. It's going to be a 15-yarder.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 90 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're trying to get these types of plays out of the game. And you just, in this day and age of football, you cannot pick a guy up and slam him, no matter what.
When these two teams played in the bowl game last year, Kansas had 4 personal fouls, 18 penalties in all in that game for 216 yards, and the Jayhawks still won that game by 2 touchdowns.
They're waiting to walk this off and finally doing so.
Paul?
Yeah, talk to Mariota at the half. He feels like the feet of Matt Sluka will open up this offense in the second half. He also said, Andre, it's interesting, he thinks they have plenty of opportunities to take shots downfield. He said there was a couple mishaps in that first half that would have allowed them to have those huge explosive plays. But he said none of this will matter if they don't stop Devin Neal.
Sluka takes another shot. He wants Ricky White double covered. Incomplete.
Yeah, to Clark's point, now they have had Ricky White open downfield. They've also hit Casey Kane on a pass or two and had him open at times. So DeJesus with a big reception going into the end zone right there before the end of the half. I mean, there are opportunities there, and they're 0 for 5 on deep shots. So they've got to connect at some point.
Ricky White, one of the best receivers in the nation. Only 1 catch on 5 targets. Hand off here to Jet Thomas. He had the touchdown catch before halftime. It's 3rd down. UNLV just 1 for 6 on 3rd down.
When teams take a shot on 1st down and then it's an incompletion, you can set your watch that they're going to run it to try to get back on schedule on 2nd down, which is exactly what UNLV did. Now I'm looking to try to get the ball in a playmaker's hands in Ricky White here on 3rd down. Down at the bottom of your screen.
Matched up with Mello Dotson. Thomas goes wide. Kansas brings 4. They've got a spy. Sluka in trouble and submerged.
Just not comfortable as a passing quarterback yet is Matthew Sluka. Your feet are set. The ball has to come out and go somewhere. And it looked like Bradley was open, but the pressure by Dunn is what forced him to keep the ball. Everybody covered downfield.
Trevor Wilson lets this bounce, and it rolls out of bounds. 45-yard punt, no return. The Kansas defense gets a stop. Jayhawks ball when we come back.
Noche UFC is tomorrow in Vegas at the Sphere. 2 title fights in addition to honoring Mexico's rich history, culture, and fighting spirit will make this a night to remember on Mexican Independence Day weekend. The main card, 10 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view. Prelims at 7:30 on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Go to espnplus.com/PPV to order the main card. I'm still waiting for that trip to the Spear, all on Andre Ware.
I've been there. It is quite the place to watch anything. And if you haven't gone there, make sure that you make your way.
Did you not hear what I said? I'm waiting for the trip on you.
I hear you. I have turned the page on you, though.
He just blocked your comment, stiff-armed it cleanly as Devin Neal gets back to the line of scrimmage.
A nice job by here in the second half of kind of containing Devin Neal. This UNLV defense.
Daniels intercepted, picked off by Woodard. Inside the 5, and the Rebels with a chance to take their first lead of the night.
Never go late where?
Over the middle.
Over the middle. You are learning fast, my man. You cannot stare it down and go late over the middle. There is a price to pay. Middle linebacker. Woodard just watching the eyes of Jalen Daniels and breaking on the football. It's intended for Cardell, who caught one earlier. But man, 2 big plays by this UNLV defense has them scoring on one and knocking on the door with this one.
2 weeks in a row now, the turnovers have been problematic for Jalen Daniels. Woodard was the preseason Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year.
Watch White going to the corner after the play action.
Sluka hands it off. And Burrell, the freshman, gets a little closer. 2nd and goal. You saw that unique formation, shotgun running backs lined up like dominoes, part of the go-go offense.
And they basically force you to play man-to-man because you're crowding everybody inside, think and run. Last week, they threw out of that exact formation to Ricky White for a touchdown. He's at the top of the screen, matched against Kobe Bryant.
And offset, jumbo formation in the backfield. Handoff. Thomas spun down for a loss. Puts it back at the 5-yard line. 3rd down and goal.
Well, what a play by Caleb Taylor. In on their goal line package, and the big fella gets plenty of penetration, chasing things down from behind, and no room for Jaden Thomas to run.
6 TFLs for Kansas.
Don't be surprised if they try to get Sluka out on the edge here.
Lance Leipold wants a timeout.
One thing I've learned tonight, Lance Leipold is a passionate football coach. We talked to him this week, and he was cool, calm, and collected. And that's how he comes across. But when he gets between the white lines, man, is he coaching.
He understands this is a critical juncture. UNLV got the touchdown off of a Kansas turnover. They've got a chance to take the lead now off of a Kansas turnover.
And if I'm Jeff Grimes, I am talking to Jalen Daniels and telling him, hey, you're our leader. We believe in you. Settle yourself down and just go play your game. And then I'd go right with that, give him some easy throws to the ball comes out quickly, and go back to the running game with Devin Neal. But right now, the order of business for Kansas is, hey, you got to stop UNLV and keep them out of the end zone here.
3 receivers bunched to the right. Kansas had too many men on. They got the 12th man off. Sluka underneath, incomplete. It's 4th down. Jayhawks bringing some pressure. And now the field goal unit will come on. Missed opportunity with the ball inside the 10 off the interception.
It really was. I think that's the 3rd trip inside the red zone where they've got to settle for field goals rather than putting one on the scoreboard for a touchdown. Keeps you close, but it doesn't get you the lead.
This is a chip shot field goal for Chittenden, 23. He did miss from 21 against Houston. And he puts through his 3rd field goal of the game. UNLV inches that much closer Rebels pulled to within 1.
The Friday night spotlight shines on UNLV linebacker Jackson Woodard, who just had that huge interception. He feels like he was put in this position, a high-profile spot to give back. That's the mindset he adopted from his parents, Tacey and Ernie. Jackson has ran football camps back home in Little Rock, Arkansas, where proceeds have gone to College Football Hall of Famer Keith Jackson's foundation, helping underserved youth in the community. He's also volunteered with Special Olympics in both Little Rock and Vegas, and he's participated in a program which builds beds for those in need. I loved my time on the phone with him, gentlemen. He's focused, he's caring, and he's fun. We were laughing about his pet pig, Calvin, who lives at the family's house, not the family farm. He thought he was bringing home a miniature pig 8 years ago. The problem now, Calvin's around 300 pounds. He digs up the yard and eats everything in sight.
How much does it cost to feed Calvin as Trevor Wilson takes it across the 30-yard line?
He eats non-stop. I mean, he thought he was getting like a 20-pound pig. Him and his brother were driving and saw a lady on the side of the street who had a litter of pigs and said it was a miniature pig, and told the mom and dad. They FaceTime. The mom gave in, thought it was going to be, you know, a smaller little pot-belly pig, and now Calvin's Calvin.
So it eats like a pig.
Yeah.
Oh, Calvin. That's great.
A former walk-on at Arkansas, Jackson Woodard. Devin Neal north of 100 yards, the running back. There's the speed option. It's worked well tonight. Flag down.
That's maybe a hold and coming back. Exactly what it is.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
And Jalen Daniels began this game 7 of 8. I mean, they were cruising on offense, and then all of a sudden he's 0 for 6 with 2 interceptions since starting 7 for 8.
What have you noticed differently?
I think he's just staring receivers down, and it's allowing the zone coverage of UNLV to break on balls. The one that Catalan caught, the interception he made at the end of the first half. Hey, he's just in position in center field, and you're trying to drive one down the hash. You threw it right to him.
This time Neal bottled up for a loss. UNLV has been much better in their run fits in the second half.
Much better here in the second half. And some adjustments right before the half kind of slowed Kansas down. Really got ignited them with the Catalan interception. And since then, they've been lights out on defense. Playing behind the chains, that's a tough, tough game.
2nd and 21. First down marker is the Kansas 34.
Give him a quick here on a catch and run.
Fake to Neal. Daniels throws incomplete. Wanted Arnold.
Yeah.
3rd and long.
Been there. You throw 2 picks. You're going to squeeze it a little bit hard, a little bit tighter. The arm's just not as free as it was in the first quarter. Just gotta give him a couple of easy throws to ease him back into this game.
His big goal this year was to play in every game and stay healthy. It's been a struggle the last 2 years, but the last 2 weeks, the real struggle has been turnovers.
And UNLV just going to keep everyone in front of them and tackle.
Little 4-man twist. Kansas runs. Surrendered Cobra. Devin Neal to the 15. Crowd doesn't like the call. Elad made the stop.
Well, guess what, crowd? There isn't a whole lot of plays in the playbook to pick up where Kansas was.
Flag at the end of the play.
Had a hold that really got him to 2nd and 20. That's a tough place to dig yourself out of.
There are unsportsmanlike conduct penalties by both teams on the play. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 5 of the offense and number 70 of the defense. These penalties cancel. 4th down.
Man, it was a chippy bowl game.
It was.
At the end of that one.
Number 70
Between
of the
these two
offense and 5
teams.
of the defense. It's the first of the game for each player.
You had personal fouls in the bowl game, and then at the very end of the bowl game, it got extremely chippy.
Keep an eye on number 5, Himmelin.
I think they got the teams mixed up.
Yeah,
Clive
they did.
Oliver for UNLV and Baines for Kansas. DeJesus is a dangerous return man. UNLV has not returned a punt for a touchdown in 23 years. Longest drought in the nation. Here is DeJesus. Tackled immediately. Excellent coverage after a 44-yard kick.
There's no foul on the play for running into the kicker. The kicker was mobile
Mason Ellis on the coverage and the tackle.
Matthew Sluka, the Holy Cross transfer, has been below 50% on the season and in every game. And tonight, UNLV has not been able to get the ball to its playmakers. DeJesus and Ricky White, 8 targets, only 2 catches, 11 total yards.
Got to get playmakers going. Well, it's a long night.
There's DeJesus in motion. Instead, a running play. And Devin Green across the 40.
A bad block on the outside by Tiger Shanks. Your guy, big right tackle. The true freshman, Devin Green, making something out of nothing. It looked like he was engaged quickly. And all of a sudden, he's 3 yards down the field.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
The left guard, Anton Amble, whose mom and stepdad, both actors. Mom, Cindy, was one of Jerry Seinfeld's girlfriends in an episode of Seinfeld, the famous, when you call, it's me. That was her.
Wow.
Yeah. For the Seinfeld fans out there.
He's got a couple of brothers playing college football as well.
Sluka slings it to the sideline. And Ricky White lassoed for a loss, 3rd down.
Nowhere to go. It's Jayhawk defense getting stingy in its own right. Got a game of who's going to flinch on defense right now.
Rebels 1 for 8 on 3rd down. Down the middle, too far over the head of Bolingai, the tight end who was open.
You know it's well overthrown if you can't hit a guy that's 6'7", 265. The big tight end. Bolingai wide open on a crosser, and that one should have been completed for a 1st down. It's hard to miss them when they're 6'7".
Sluka 0 for 6 on deep balls. Nichols rugby style kick. Takes a UNLV roll.
Wow.
All the way to about the 15-yard line of Kansas. 6:28 to go in the 3rd, and now a quick word from Verbo.
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. That's the rule.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals make you share your turf with a host, try one that's all yours.
It's been hard to come by the yards for Kansas.
Guys, been following Jaden Daniels, with the 3 interceptions tonight, and he's been loose and totally positive on the sideline. I think Devin Neal has also been fantastic in terms of just keeping his confidence up, and these guys have been through so much together over the years. But the reality of this all, Andre, and as a quarterback better than anyone, he's got 6 interceptions in the last 2 games. He had 5 in the 12 previous games. There's a lot going through that head.
Yeah, it really is right now, and it's kind of frustrating for him to not be able to get it back on track.
Here's that speed option. Woodard tracks him down. Flag comes in at the 20.
It comes right in at the feet of Keith Conley Jr. Let's see if it's on him or if it's on the offense for holding again. And it's been a whole lot of backing up for Kansas the last couple of possessions. They started.
Holding. Offense number 52.
Wow.
Half an inch to the goal. Replay second down.
That's Logan Brown, the right tackle, but they started this game, Anish, red hot. First 3 possessions, 233 yards. They scored 17 points. Their last 4, 34 yards of total offense and no points.
And early on,
they
were ahead of the chains.
Yeah,
they were running the football. That's changed.
Yeah, and that's because UNLV has made some outstanding adjustments defensively to slow down Devin Neal, and that's where it was coming from. Once they plug that up, now you can play some defense.
Little screen pass to Grimm.
Nice move.
Sidesteps a defender. It's going to bring up 3rd down and long, and prior to that, Daniels was 0 for his last 7.
This crowd is getting restless with this offense. New boo birds coming out.
Antonio Doyle went down. Now he gets up. Wrong signal from the sideline.
Yeah, and a bad acting job.
And now we're going to get a penalty from the far side. It's going to be on Kansas. Wow.
I'm not sure that UNLV.
Ball start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set. 5-yard penalty. And 3rd down.
I think they were trying to catch UNLV substituting and didn't allow everybody to get set and try to quick snap it. They're going to hear about it from this crowd now. Let's take a look at this flop. Antonio Doyle Jr. Oh, that's bad acting right there. Then he pops up. Oh, I'm okay. I don't really have it.
We are at
whatever's
a
going
stadium.
on. Yeah, whatever's going on.
We are
that's
at a soccer
That's a
stadium.
great point, Anish. Great point.
When in Rome.
You break a fingernail and you're just rolling around on the ground.
And then back to life moments later. Neal cannot get out of the ambush.
And Doyle making a play.
So he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. Just fine. Fought off a triple team. 3 guys trying to block him. He fought that off and then made a tackle. And UNLV should have some pretty good field position here.
And again, DeJesus waiting at the logo on midfield. He's an All-American return man.
We got a ball game all of a sudden, partner.
The last play of the first half. Wild finish has changed the complexion of this game. Good punt by Graves.
Excellent.
DeJesus inside his own 45. And spun out of bounds at the 45 of Kansas. UNLV will begin in plus territory. Officials break up whatever was happening in the sideline. This is how the first half ended.
Yeah, the interception. Excuse me, the clock management. You see the time running down. The interception set all this up, and all of a sudden, Mr. Thomas is in the end zone, and that's when a game broke out.
UNLV had 2 timeouts. The clock continued to run. Kark, you asked Barry Odom about what happened in those final moments.
Well, yeah, he had the 2 timeouts. He said he actually had 2 plays called, so he felt like Sluka was in a good position to run the offense in that red zone. The problem was it got really late. He said by the time he felt like Sluka was back and poised, it was too late to call the timeouts.
Meanwhile, Mello Dotson, fantastic tackle space to bring down Ricky White.
You're talking about two NFL caliber corners in Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson, and it's been tough for Ricky White to get himself going against those two.
Going on. Dotson again, the tackle to cut down the freshman Burrell. 3rd and long, so UNLV starts with great field position, not able to do much so far.
Hadn't done anything in 2 downs, and I think they're just a little bit cautious of allowing Matthew Sluka with this type of field position to throw the ball down the field for fear of a mistake that would give Kansas any type of momentum.
Kansas 1 for 9 on 3rd down. Rushing 4. Sluka using the stiff arm. Overshoots White.
It's kind of a sidearm delivery. It's not over the top or a classic delivery. It's almost from his hip. That may be part of the accuracy issues.
9 targets for White, the All-American. Only 3 catches for 4 yards. Ooh. He was 3rd in the nation in receiving yards last season. Nichols with a high punt. Wilson will let this bounce. And it's going to be caught.
That's Cameron Oliver.
At the 2-yard line. Special teams could end up deciding the outcome of this game. Kansas begins inside its own 5. Before the game, Luke Grimm wired.
Are you mic'd up?
I am, yeah. What would you do if you had someone mic'd up? If you were the editors of it? You would splice it and have stuff? Yeah. So it's a great day to have a great day is what it is. You know, like when people say they feel like $1 million? Yeah. Add a couple more. You feel me?
Appreciate it.
I'm being a little greedy there, Luke Grimm.
Yeah, I like it.
Daniels from his own end zone. Lets it fly. Incomplete.
I love the play call.
By Jarvis Ware, no relation to Andre.
Absolutely love the play call. So many times, teams get backed up down here. And if you have an experienced quarterback, you tell them, hey, 3 quicks and let that baby rip. And that's exactly what Jalen Daniels did. We're going to run it in there. Everybody's expecting it. Devin Hill's not going anywhere down here. But you can get back. You might hit one. You might get an interference call to get you a little room to work.
Grimm had touchdown catches of 60 and 43 against UNLV in the bowl game. Daniels tries to get that to Arnold, and it's ruled incomplete. Arnold pleading his case.
I don't know if he had his hands completely under that one. And as the game continues to go, and the completions, that's definitely an incompleted pass. As the incompletions start to mount, it gets tougher and tougher on Jalen Daniels to fix himself.
That's amazing. Early in this game, everything opened up for Kansas because of what they did on 1st down. It's been the opposite.
We were talking during the break. You might want to revisit that's the script, the first 15 of this game.
Time for Daniels, dancing in his own end zone. Receiver open, middle of the field. And that is a catch for a 1st down. Savion Morrison is running back.
You decide to rush 3. I would have put a little more pressure on him, especially backed up. But that allows guys, this is just too much time for a guy that's played as much football as Jalen Daniels. At some point, a completion, and he starts to hit his stride. This may be the one that gets him going.
Breathing room at the minimum for Kansas. Neal looking for a cutback lane. Picks up 4.
That's a tough 4 yards. Showing the patience again, and then the ability to change directions so quickly. But I think he's going to fit well in someone's zone blocking scheme in the NFL.
He and Daniel Highshaw, who's out with an illness, both getting NFL looks. Highshaw more of the power back.
What helmets, great jerseys all around the line of scrimmage now, especially on the early downs. Anticipating run. And once again, 3rd down and long for Jalen Daniels. See if he can pull a rabbit out of his hat again here on 3rd down.
Kansas does not have to call a play.
They are satisfied with this thing ticking down and going to the 4th quarter.
UNLV has emerged as one of the top group of 5 contenders. Kansas came into the year with designs of a Big 12 championship. We've got a 1-point game after 3.
Coach, what do you need from your offense to win this 4th quarter?
Well, we got to get back to being more balanced. You know, we got to settle, Jalen down a little bit. We've lost momentum in the run game here a little bit. Credit to them, but our defense has been playing really well, and we got to create a big play here one way or another.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
How do you settle Jalen Daniels down? They'll throw here. And he fires a strike for a 1st down. It's Cardell.
You settle him down by establishing the running game again, and then some quick throws. This is a nice, quick decision where he has a slide, but you're just showing your jersey to him, sitting in an open area. He can hit throws like that. And so that's where don't allow him to wait until guys are way down the field to throw it. Give him some quick stuff, and then he'll settle himself back in and mix in Devin Neal along with that.
Play action. Nobody open downfield. Daniels takes off, got an absolute beauty of a block by Jared Casey to free him up.
Well, somebody got away with a hold inside, working against the big fella, Alexander Whitmore. Has got a handful of jersey as he was trying to disengage, and they missed that one. But a nice job by Daniels to pick up yards on 1st down and keep yourself in 2nd and medium, 2nd and short.
2nd and 3 from the 40. Jayhawks scored on their first 3 possessions, have not scored since. This is Neal, plunges for a 1st down.
A lot of different ways to get that young man going again, and he was so dominant in the 1st quarter, 1st half of this game, and they didn't forget how to run block up front. You just got to allow those big guys to fire off. You see the production in the 1st half versus the 2nd half when UNLV started really loading the box.
21 carries, 112 yards for the game. Daniels chased by Conley. Arnold is wide open. To the 25 of UNLV, a gain of 28.
How do you get that wide open? His deep zone drops may have given an indication he was going to go deep. And he had Cameron Oliver to turn his hips, and then he just stopped along the sideline, and Daniels able to find him. Now he's cooking again.
Neal, that's the biggest hole he's had in the 2nd half. Conley finally brings him down after a gain of close to 9.
Boy, they are going tempo. So now you got a little bit of momentum. You got your quarterback going again, and now it's time to go fast.
11th play of the drive. Grimm on the screen. Can't get out of the grasp of Woodard. A loss on the play, 3rd down.
That's tough. You know, we call those on-air shots when guys are uncovered and you just want to raise up and give it to them. But usually guys are approaching the line of scrimmage, and you're just getting width as you approach the line of scrimmage where you've got momentum going forward when you catch the pass. If you're just sitting there waiting on it like a bubble screen, man, you're lucky you don't get teed off on by a guy, coming from inside out.
3rd and 8. This drive started at the Kansas 2. Daniels downfield, Grimm was open, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, but he had Manny Powell coming on a linebacker blitz and was able to not get there, but he did enough or got close enough to cause that errant throw by Daniels.
Tabor Allen on for his 2nd field goal try of the game. This from 41. Made from 35 earlier. Kansas extends to a 4-point lead. Still plenty of time left here in Kansas City. Monday Night Football, the Week 2 matchup. 2 dynamic running backs. John Robinson in his 2nd season with the Falcons. Saquon Barkley coming over from the Giants to Philly in his 1st season with the Eagles. Quite the debut last week against Green Bay.
Yeah, he had one heck of a opening game with 3 touchdowns. Seems to have hit his stride again.
They have not given DeJesus a chance on kick returns. And Ricky White, one of the nation's top receivers, has been shackled all evening.
Yeah, he has been held in check and really nowhere to go, but he is playing against 2 NFL caliber corners in Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson, and it's just been a tough evening for Ricky White.
Kansas defensive coordinator Brian Borland told us this week that we asked, is it Dotson, is it Bryant, who do you want on White? He said it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, one guy has 8 career interceptions, the other has 9, and both are long and athletic.
Kylan James gets the carry. The Central Arkansas transfer back to the line.
Yeah, they're pulling guys around, but UNLV's offensive line, they outweigh Kansas' starting defensive line by an average of 41 pounds. So at some point, just let these big guys fire off and see if they can move some bodies up front. Come downhill as opposed to running laterally.
UNLV in the 3rd quarter, negative yards, still had 3 points. Sluka chased by Robinson, downfield. Is that intercepted in bounds? No. Burrows got it, but was out of bounds. And there has been nothing downfield in the pass game for UNLV all night.
No, and when he's had guys open, like the big tight end, Mullen guy, he's overshooting. And so you got to hit on somebody. You got to hit some passes every once in a while. Casey Kane, he was open earlier. Overshoots him.
Gentlemen, we're talking about these 2 corners, Bryant and Dotson. 67 combined starts, 17 career interceptions. That's most of any duo in the Big 12. Here's the other thing. I've been watching Ricky White being blanketed by both of these guys. The physicality and the length of these 2 corners, Bryant and Dotson, that's what's sticking out the most. Like, they are getting into him.
I mean, you're talking about 2 shutdown corners. Usually I have 1 on each team, and
this
take a look at this. And
this is college. You only need 1 foot in bounds. Did he get that foot in bounds? And again, part of that green is out of bounds. We're at a soccer stadium tonight. Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt, ruling on the field was incomplete, out of bounds. Now from there, again, you got some green space after the white sideline chalk. I'm not sure we see enough to overturn this, right?
Anish, I agree 100%. I think it's out of bounds. It looks like his toes, looks like his feet are flattening out, and they're on the white when he touches the ball. So I really would expect this call to stand.
After review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass is confirmed. We're done.
No, Matt, not stands, but confirmed. So you were absolutely right. I think once he gained control of it, he was well out of bounds.
Well, they've got the Big 12 Command Center helping out tonight. Big 12 officiating crew.
You got a lot of time. If you're Sluka, you do not have to press this ball into coverage. Live to fight another day.
Sluka will run. And using his legs to pick up the first down. We didn't see a whole lot of that in the second half up until now.
No, Brennan Marion knowing his guy, and you get everybody spread out. And Sluka with an excellent run.
Now the tempo element of this go-go offense. Sluka using the middle, lost the football. And it's recovered by Kylan James.
For a gain.
A fortuitous bounce for UNLV.
Instead of just falling on it, you've got several Kansas players trying to pick it up and run. Best thing there is to just fall on it. Excellent job from behind. Of just swatting the ball is Robinson, who's having one heck of a night. And he gets the ball out. Now it's just up to your teammates to just fall on it, guys.
Oblong pigskin. James barging east to the 40-yard line. And a first down for UNLV.
Yeah, he's their bigger, bruising type back, but his great hands out of the backfield. All of a sudden, with a break on that fumble, here comes UNLV.
Now the team from Vegas has hit a couple of times when the odds were stacked against them. Right before the half and just now. Here comes DeJesus.
What
is 21.
What a tackle.
Only a yard though. Wheeler the stop.
Yeah, he's the captain in the green dot. He's the guy that makes the calls for this Kansas defense. And you talk about showing up. Boy, did he show up in the living room of DeJesus. What a tackle. One-on-one in the hole. And you got a quicker player, but you're able to size him up and really level it.
Michael Allen, who played at NC State to begin his career, is the running back. Sluka wants to run. Gets away from one. Changing direction. Sluka, the ad-lib. And he takes it across the 30-yard line.
I think he's going to have a first down.
It looks to be a first down. It is.
Boy, you get so close to him, but he's so slippery. Or they actually get a hand on him from time to time, and he does a heck of a job of picking up blocks. Nice job by Sluka.
Allen, who's got straight line speed. Short gain on first down. He was NC State's top incoming recruit back in 2021. ESPN 300 running back at the time.
He's got track speed to go along with some tremendous athletic ability.
65 yards week one against Houston. Got the start last week against Utah Tech. Sluka hit, underthrown, and a flag. Wanted Kane, and the defender never turned around to look at the ball. It's Devin Dye, whose dad, Jermaine, was a former All-Star for the Kansas City Royals.
Pass interference, defense number 11. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And the ball was well underthrown. If he turns around, there's probably no contact.
No, he just actually shoves him at the end of it. And that's what drew the flag. And here we go again inside the red zone for UNLV. 3 trips prior to this one, this being the 4th. No touchdowns.
UNLV has not led tonight. Sluka keeps and dives inside the 10.
He lost his footing. That's why he had to dive. He felt himself falling forward, so he just lunged, but it would have been interesting whether or not he got in the end zone, because there was a hole there for him to run through.
99 yards rushing for the UNLV quarterback.
Boy, the formation's calling for Ricky White, the third on the outside.
Sluka looking to run again. Kansas closes, but not before Sluka gets inside the 5.
You can still pick up a first down close to about the 1 or just inside the 1.
4-down territory?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No doubt, because the way your defense is playing, you have Kansas pinned deep. I think so. I think this is a trip where you use everything to get in the end zone, including the 4th down.
They give to James. Stood up.
He's close to a first down.
He might have the first down.
Man, that's going to be close.
And if it is, they'll have 4 tries, but it's not. 4th down and short.
Some good push. He's engaged and just kind of keeps his legs turning and gets pushed forward. It may be inches away from a first down. Remember, they chose to run Sluka on the quarterback sneak earlier in the game and got some push from behind and propelled him forward. We'll see what Brennan Marion has up his sleeve here.
They will measure.
It is so close in these, but I think they may be just shy of it. Yep. I don't know if that's a half yard, quarter of a yard.
Barry Odom's team.
What a game.
In week 1 beat Houston.
What a game.
Looking for their 2nd Big 12 win. They have the schedule where if they win the Mountain West, they can be a playoff team.
Yeah, we know what's coming here. This is get as low as you can on both lines of scrimmage.
Beasley and James behind Sluka. The tush push.
He didn't get it.
Kansas comes away with the football. Flags down as the Jayhawks continue to run it back the other way. Penalty markers flew at the end of the play.
Initially, Sluka did not have it. Now the second effort may have gotten him close, and I think they're going to have to measure this again. Well, they're spotting it. It looks like it may be a first down, but we got to find out what the flag is about. The replay here, he got no traction, then all of a sudden he got pushed.
And then the ball's ripped out.
But you can't hear a whistle, so you don't know when it was stopped.
Now they're going to measure. And by the nose of the football, the spot gives UNLV the first down. Now that is a reviewable play, but generally speaking,
it's tough to.
Those are very hard to overturn.
Yes.
Let's bring in Matt Austin after the call.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 72. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Backup tackle Will Thomas.
So you get a first and goal
at the inside the 1. Now
and then you get the personal foul at the end of the play to push you back. It's a dead ball foul.
Yeah, Nish, that's a good call, too.
So
he just rips the guy off and throws him down.
Yeah, and Matt, yeah, you go from 1st and goal because of the dead ball foul to now back 15 yards.
And it's still 1st and goal. Wow.
Ball is at the 16-yard line. Sluka navigates a tight space. Ankle tackled from behind by J.B. Brown.
Well, Sluka's so slippery, isn't he? I mean, there's no... We're going straight quarterback counter. And a couple of quarterback run calls. Ritter Marion's not messing around with any ball handling. He is just going to run Sluka.
Another conference.
When you almost have to cash in here, right? If you're UNLV, this 14th play of this drive and eating up over 7 minutes. We may not get in this position again tonight.
And we'll find out what this is about. Andre, what could they be talking about here? I'll bring in Matt Austin as well. Matt, what does this seem to be about?
Okay, after the 1st down and then the dead ball personal foul, they moved it back 15. Andre, you made the comment it's still 1st and goal, but that's not correct. The chains moved back with the ball on the foul.
The markers drop.
Right, but it should be first. It should have been first and 10.
I saw the markers drop.
They did, but it should be 1st and 10 from back there. Now they ran a play. Now it's going to be 2nd and whatever.
That's a good catch there, Matt. I'm watching the sideline in the chain gang. They dropped the markers, so you're thinking it's 1st and goal to go.
So after that run by Sluka, it's now 2nd and short.
Yeah, previous 4 drives or possessions 5 yards. Here 67 on this drive alone.
Kylan James. Tornadoes for a 1st and goal for UNLV. Back at the 3-yard line.
Now it's 1st and goal, partner.
Now it's 1st and goal coming up on 4 minutes to play. A drive that has taken 7+ minutes.
So we're right back where we started. And for UNLV, you're kind of loving it because you're eating up a bunch of time. Now you just got to finish this thing.
James stood up by Burrows.
They can get absolutely no movement between the tackles. Kansas just stout. Now they're lighter on the edges at about 235 with their defensive ends. Maybe you try there as opposed to going between the 2 guards and 2 tackles.
Tommy Dunn in there as well. 2nd and goal.
One actually went backwards, didn't it?
Back at the 5, a loss on the play.
What a tackle.
Jesus cut down, another loss. No forward traction. Dylan Woodkey with the TFL.
Can't run inside, you can't run outside. The big fella Woodkey with an excellent tackle out in space against a quicker, faster DeJesus. Just reaches, grabs a handful of hip and leg. What a tackle. Big guy.
It's been chutes and ladders here in the red zone for UNLV. Sluka trying to escape, ducks under Robinson, still going. Sluka down all the way to about the 2-yard line. A magician at times tonight.
Running sideways, trying to get himself into the end zone. Excellent coverage on the back end by Kansas. They are manned up. No one is open. And then It's Sluka just kind of slipping away from defenders and tacklers. I thought he was getting ready to walk into the end zone.
This
2
is
minutes, timeout.
magician in a water tank with handcuffs, and he finds a way out.
A.B. Brown saving the day.
2 minutes.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Play of the game coming up, 4th and goal, UNLV from the 1-yard line, and a chance to take their first lead of the game.
I may go option here and get Sluka on the edges with an, obviously a chance to pitch it or keep it, but give him multiple options rather than just trying to bull his way into the end zone. So they may work the edges here with Sluka. But I definitely want the ball in his hands. What a ball game.
A strange winding drive comes down to this for UNLV. They give it to James. Does he get in? Sluka pumps his fist. No signal yet from the officials.
Touchdown.
And now touchdown.
And that was the read for Sluka. He could pull it, but he saw a crease for James and decided to put it in his belly. They get enough push to get him into the end zone, and I don't know
how.
how.
Is a touchdown. The previous play is under replay review.
I don't know how you find the football under all of that. He's reading things out. You got 2 guys outside the tackle box. That tells you go ahead and put it in the belly of what essentially would be the fullback, because you've got a guy to account for the quarterback as well as the pitch man. Great read by Sluka. Now we see if it stands.
You think of the massive pendulum swings on this drive. You had about 3 or 4 inside the 20. You had the play where Sluka fumbled. Kansas tried to pick it up, had black shirts all over the football. It gets kicked around.
Yeah.
UNLV's able to recover. It extends the drive.
You cannot find the football in that frame.
Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, is there enough here to swing this call one way or the other?
I sure have not seen a single view where you can tell if the runner made it into the end zone or not with the ball. Anything that's from the end zone, it pushes the ball backwards. So anything from behind the runner, it pushes him forward. So it's really hard to tell. The shots down the goal line, there's just too many bodies in the way. So I would be surprised if this comes back with anything but stands.
And he's laying on top of a Kansas defender, so he's still essentially not down yet.
Correct.
Is what I'm seeing. So if it's going to be tough to overturn. I mean,
after review, the ruling on the field of the touchdown stands as called.
And the verbiage stands is important, not confirmed, stands, so there's not indisputable evidence. The Big 12 tonight has its command center in Dallas helping out on replay review. 17 plays, 74 yards, 9.5 minutes off the clock, and UNLV leads for the first time tonight.
And Kansas with 2 timeouts, 1:51 on the clock, plenty of time.
And a big extra point, it's good. UNLV up by 3. Still time for Kansas. A field goal ties it. A touchdown gives the Jayhawks the lead.
Welcome to Friday night.
UNLV brought some of that Vegas luck to Kansas City. Right before the half, the Rebels mismanaged the clock. They had 2 timeouts, don't call one, had to get lined up on a wheel route. Jet Thomas scores. That made it 17-13. Rebels down 4 at the time on the go-ahead drive. Matthew Sluka fumbles. Black shirt. Black shirt. Black shirt. Yet it comes back to Kylan James, who recovers the fumble and then later scores the go-ahead touchdown on 4th and goal. Trevor Wilson will take a knee in his own end zone. And Kansas will have the ball at the 25-yard line.
We got a long way to go, though, partner, because we got 1:51 on the clock. 2 timeouts for an experienced quarterback and a playmaker like Jaylen Daniels. That's an eternity. And all he needs to send this game into overtime, I got nowhere to go, is a field goal. So let's hang around and see what happens here.
And remember, Kansas's kicker, Tabor Allen, has only attempted 3 field goals as a collegiate kicker. 5th-year senior, 1st-year starter. Daniels in trouble. Escaping. Downfield. Threw it away.
Lot of time off the clock.
Strong start for Kansas. Offensively, it's been a tough go since.
More plays, way less yards. And you look at the points in the final column. It's been a tough second half for this Jayhawk offense. All it takes is getting your team into field goal range, and you've done your job as a quarterback here.
Daniels steps up. Room to run. And upended in space. Going to be a little shy of the marker. A gain of 8 on the play. Jet Elad made the tackle. Clock continues to run. We are under 2 minutes, so a first down does momentarily stop the clock.
Yeah, but he didn't get the first down
Second
here.
charge timeout.
And they're going to have to take
Kansas.
the second timeout. Now, me as a player, I never wanted to leave the game in the kicker's hands. I want to go win this, baby.
After the game, SportsCenter gets you ready for week 3 of college football. Sean O'Malley speaks out before UFC 306, and Asia Wilson seeking a 1,000-point season. Kansas has to get it to about the 35, 33-yard line of UNLV.
Asia Wilson's had some season, hadn't she?
She has.
Wow, can she hoop.
Tabor Allen, their field goal range, 50-52. 3rd down for Jaylen Daniels and this offense. 1 timeout left.
Maybe quarterback run here.
There it is. And Daniels is going to be a little short. Clock still running. It's 4th down. There's a handoff. Neal. Flag down. A first down if it stands.
Maybe a hold here. And looking at Logan Brown, the right tackle. This is big.
And under 2 minutes now. A hold would stop the clock, so the runoff would be in play.
Chop block. Offense number 70 and 52. 15-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
Kobe Baines and Logan Brown. That's a big one with it being 4th down. Keep an eye on the right side of the offensive line. One goes low, one goes high. That is tough. It might be time to spin that last time out, and I think that's exactly what Coach Leipold's going to do.
3rd and final charge timeout. Kansas.
If you're UNLV, it's heels on the first down marker about the 35-yard line or so, and make sure you tackle everything approaching that point on the field. Keep everything in front of you and wrap up.
The runoff would not have been in play for that type of foul. It's 4th down. And what was 4th and short, now 4th and long, and UNLV, if they get a stop, they're looking at their first 3-0 start since 1984 when Randall Cunningham was the Rebels quarterback.
And he was a good one. I think they went 10-1 that season.
Kansas needs to get to its own 35. Daniels under duress and taken down.
A three-man rush. It's Antonio Doyle Jr. that gets home. He has had himself one heck of a ball game. Nothing fancy about this. It's just, I'm going to make my way to the quarterback. Push in the pocket. He swims Devin Neal, and he's free on Jalen Daniels.
The Rebels came to Kansas City with a cause. Barry Odom had been publicly advocating for his team to be in the top 25. Well, here they are 3 weeks into the season. This is now their second win against the Big 12. They still play Syracuse out of the ACC, Oregon State out of the two-team Pac-12. And then you've got the Mountain West schedule where you still get Boise and Fresno.
Who's playing some good football, both those teams.
This running Rebels team, no, they're not the running Rebels in basketball. This Rebels football team might be running to a playoff spot if they win the Mountain West. They notch another big non-conference win.
Yeah, they're going to have to get some production out of that passing game, though, to get through the schedule that you just described. It's fun to watch them, though. Super fun to watch.
The team from Vegas in Kansas City. It was a game where the aces all turned up. The sevens were rolling. They caught a couple of breaks. They brought that juice from Las Vegas. College football primetime presented by Ram Trucks gave us quite a game here on Friday the 13th. And for the first time in a generation, UNLV is 3-0.
What an amazing game. Two totally different games. The first half totally dominated by Kansas until that little mishap, or whatever it is you want to call it. That got UNLV started, and man, did they ride a wave of momentum to the finish line.
Rebels get the win thanks to a 9.5-minute game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. From Kansas City, your final score 23-20 UNLV.